Okay, so last time we were talking a little bit about the War of Bassus as illustrating the virtues of Arab tribal existence, and I think in that war, as I implied, will come later in the history of the at least the storyteller's view of the Qais versus Khal. Split among Arab tribesmen, basically northern versus southern tribesmen, and maybe one poet's or storyteller's view of how this began over nothing, basically a lark's nest. I probably would be willing to fight a war over a lark's nest myself, rather than some of the other things people fight about. I know that I fight down in the coastline there over the cutting down of the blue heron's nests, and I would probably be willing to take extremely harsh action were I free to do so over people who are insensitive and disturb birds who are so beautiful. So I can understand that. I don't think I fight over a lot of things people fight over, but something like that I speaks to me, but maybe it doesn't say anything to you. All right. Then I started moving on back into some of this pre-Islamic background in southern Arabia. And these stories are told, that's why I gave you this, because Nicholson, these are taken from, is one of the few writers that gives you the whole legend of Ma'arib and the Tubas. Ma'arib was what, if you remember? Was basically the big flourishing capital of the what was called Saba back then, and later probably there's no A here, but anyway, you can put it in there. Ma'arib. You can put the A in, you can leave it out. It's a breathing mark in there. Ma'arib. It still exists in Yemen today. It is a city, and there are archaeological ruins there of the water conservation system. They had a dike system, and it has to do in the legends and the stories with the movement of southern tribes northward, but really it has to do with the collapse of southern prosperity, civilization, culture, the ability to keep up the dikes. We're experiencing a similar thing here in America, our inability to keep up the levees in the modern period and the collapse of whole societies because of the inability of the water conservation system to function properly. And they don't even know if those people are going to be able to go back into Louisiana and New Orleans and those places and live in any normal way for the foreseeable future. And the investment it takes is astronomical to do it properly. And so it's not just ancient civilizations, it's ghost cities like we have today, New Orleans, which is almost, from what you get the picture of, a non-functioning American city. So, and we're consider ourselves a modern civilization. So in ancient times, that would even be worse. And this gives way. So we have the breaking of the dike, symbolic of the collapse of southern culture. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But then these tubas come in. Now, who they were, where they were, it isn't clear. But the tubas are not a musical instrument, but are the leaders of southern Arabia in and around this time and thereafter. Tuba. I don't know why we use that expression. It's the native usage, probably means local king. And since it was used by them, one might as well use it. But we have material on page 17 about the tubas and some mythological ones. Someone called Dhul Qarnayn, who in the Quran seems to be a reflection of Alexander the Great, and so on. Until we finally get to the story of Asad Kamil, and who was one of the early, listen to that, tubas. I think this begins on the bottom of 18 and carries over into 19. I write on the board, I kind of hold you responsible for it. Assad Khan. And where would the accent be? Let me see, where is the accent? Let's see if we can figure this out. The first syllable, so I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying Camille. It's, I'm saying it right. Not Camille. Assad Khan. Yeah, I'm saying it. The accent helps you pronounce the word in the way Arab in its original language would pronounce that. And there's some story, old legend cycles associated with him. And here's a poem associated with him and a campaign he undertook, and apparently, supposedly had a campaign in Persia. This would be around the 400s of the after Christ period. And on his way back from this campaign, this is the interesting material, he stopped.